fellow Star Trek fans. Welcome back to Season 5, Episode 2 of The Dry Dock, where myself and the wonderful Jodi Pickens, we are diving in to Strange New World Season 3. Jodi, how are you doing today?
Doing fantastic. I'm just happy there's new Trek.
I know, but also, I tell you what, this is a cracker of an episode.
It really is. It really is.
It's an absolute gem, as they would say.
Yes.
I really enjoyed this. So this episode, we're going to be checking out Season 3, Episode 2 of Strange New Worlds. The episode is titled Wedding Bell Blues. So let's get into it. The Enterprise has been docked at Starbase 1 for, nearly a year now. During that time, Spock has had a lot of time to process, and, particularly when it comes to Nurse Christine Chapel. He's taken up dance lessons with Naan, which was something I wasn't seeing coming, trying to open himself up emotionally and perhaps even prepare for something more with Christine when she returns from her medical fellowship. But when she finally does arrive, she is not alone. She beams aboard with Dr. Roger Korby, brilliant, composed, and very much her date to the upcoming Federation Centennial. Spock, he's slightly blindsided, I think, just to say the least. Elsewhere aboard the ship, Ortegas' younger brother is aboard to document the Federation Centennial celebration for the Federation. He's eager, enthusiastic, and, kind of not that subtle about his interest in Lieutenant Uhura, and an interaction that both entertains and mildly embarrasses Ortegas, who's, let's face it, not thrilled to see her baby brother flirting with her colleagues. Meanwhile, Pike and Patel are finding themselves in an undefined space, closer than ever after Patel's recovery, but unsure of what's next as she weighs new starship assignments. Their quiet connection adds another thread to the episode's web of romantic entanglement. Remember this for later. Everything changes at a lively gathering in the port galley. Pressed for details on how they started dating, Christine shares how she and Korby fell in love during her time away. A story that climaxes with Korby leading her to the top of a mountain under the stars to read her poetry. A sweeping romantic gesture, one that clearly touched her deeply. Spock is heartbroken, if a Vulcan can be heartbroken. But anyway, and he leaves the area where Christine and Korby are at the center of the crew's attention to take a seat at the bar. Spock accepts a drink from a mysterious, oddly charismatic Vulcan bartender. Or is he a Vulcan bartender? Just a casual moment until it isn't. After a single sip, Spock wakes up the next morning with Christine Chapel beside him. She's happy, smiling, and excitedly mentions that today is their wedding day. Suddenly, the entire ship is transformed. The crew is exuberant. Preparations are well underway, and the bartender, he's now a flamboyant Andorian wedding planner, fully in control of the proceedings and seemingly able to shape reality itself. Where have we seen this before? Spock, swept along in this perfect fantasy, resumes his dance lessons with Laan, this time for his own wedding. Dr. Korby is now Christine's best man, though the tension in his expression says more than words. Everything escalates when Korby breaks into Spock's quarters, panicked, determined, and clearly aware that, this reality isn't real. He insists that something, or someone, is manipulating the ship's crew and reality. Spock becomes agitated, and, Korby, aptly responds in the only way he knows how to. He punches him. And the act of violent, raw, emotional, and, let's face it, very un-Vulcan, snaps Spock out of the illusion. With clarity returned, Spock joins Korby to uncover what's really going on here. They scan the ship, they analyze behavior, they theorize about psychic influence, temporal distortions, and, even emotional triggers, but none of them really breaks the hold on the rest of the crew. But eventually they find the answers. A single individual aboard who doesn't belong. Have you guessed it? Yes, it's the wedding planner. No longer just quirky, the omnipotent being, where have we seen this before, who crafted his entire reality from an offhand wish that Spock made at the bar. A wish where he had, without realizing the weight of his words, that he wished things had turned out differently with Christine. Now the entity holds the entire crew and the Centennial guests in an alternate reality. When Spock and Korby resist, the entity retaliates. Spock is shrunk and placed in a pint glass, a literal Vulcan terrarium. Later, Korby is turned into a bulldog for objecting during the wedding ceremony, and yet, in this episode's emotional climax, Spock chooses to speak. Standing at the altar, he delivers heartfelt words. Not from his own memories, but from Christine's story about falling in love with Korby on that mountaintop. He repeats the story back to her, line by line, and something clicks. She remembers. This isn't real, none of it is, and neither of them are supposed to be standing at the altar. But the entity is furious. He warns them to prepare for a, cavalcade of death. Just before the chaos breaks loose, a second, far more powerful being appears. The voice is unmistakably Q, the father of the meddling entity, maybe? With a snap of his fingers, the fantasy ends, and the crew wakes up from the alter reality, confused as to why they were at a wedding. No one really remembers how they got there, but they know they're safe and they're aboard the Enterprise, and they're in the correct reality, which is the important bit. At the Federation Centennial Celebration, Pike steps up to deliver, kind of an awkward toast, trying to shift the mood whilst making sense of, what's just happened. Drinks are served, laughter returns, and the jitterbug of Wham fills the room. In a rare moment of understanding, La'an joins Spock, who is sitting alone amongst the partygoers, offering a quiet encouragement and reminding him that sometimes love means letting someone go. Meanwhile, Ortegas finds herself left out of the festivities and quietly leaves the party, but her exit does not go unnoticed by Captain Pike. We find Ortegas back in the gym, working a punching bag into silence. She turns to the window, pausing for a breath, and sees the reflection of a Gorn standing behind her. She isn't imagining it. August? She isn't imagining it. Ortegas, she's still suffering. The trauma of what happened to her when trying to escape the Gorn hasn't faded, and even in celebration, not everyone is whole. Wedding Bell Blues isn't just the most emotionally layered episode of Strange New Worlds has to deliver so far. It's surreal, romantic, tragic, hilarious, and deeply Star Trek, of course. A meditation on desire, loss, and the illusion of what could have been. Jodi, this episode is, I think it's a real fun one. I think having John Delancey pop back was a real shock. I don't think anybody was expecting that.
No.
But I think that just the whole episode as a whole, it was really well paced. It had some funny bits. It had some serious bits. Obviously, there's this whole underlying tone that we spoke about last time of this kind of Gorn threat.
Mm-hmm.
Get to see that Captain Patel is on the way mending. She's getting back on her feet. What are your thoughts on this episode?
You talked about how it's well paced, and I think that goes the big credit. You had Kirsten Beyer, who a lot of us know as an author, a well-respected author in Trek tie-in fiction, and David Reed obviously was her co-writer on this. So I think that really says a lot about the character development we got in this episode, because a lot was wrapped up in a way. Like, we got some moving forward. This is where we are after that, the horrible events that took place in episode 1. So I love that. I love the pacing of this episode too, because it was just, we were bouncing back and forth. It was as if you were flipping from chapter to chapter, just trying to find out what's going to happen next. So it was a page turner of a show to watch in that regard. So I love that. But I love that it wasn't all happy, and that there was some sadness.
Seriousness.
And seriousness, because you have the sadness of Spock, and man, Ethan Peck just gets all the props for the way he's played Spock in these first 2 episodes of this season. My goodness. This is what we wanted. We wanted to know more about him as a character, and we're getting that more than I think I expected. But then we got the seriousness of what Ortegas is dealing with, and La'an's kind of coming out of her shell, but yet we've got others retreating maybe into a shell. So I like the weight that's kind of being passed back and forth of the character stories. But I love, Wedding Bell Blues. I mean, Jonathan Delancey sneak attack with the voiceover.
Yeah, absolutely.
No one called Q. No one said Q was going to be in season 3. No one said that. And then Rhys Davies. So come on.
Absolutely. I mean, some cracking guest actors in this week's episode.
Seriously.
I think one of the things I really liked was some of the costumes we got to see.
Oh, wow.
You know,
right?
I mean, the wedding planners' costumes they're flamboyant, they're ornate, they're almost, you know, Victorian-esque in style, which we've seen before, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit more. You know, it was also, I thought, really cool to see, you know, Scotty's, I'm not going to call it a dress uniform because it's, well, yeah, I suppose it is a dress uniform.
Yeah,
his dress uniform back. He's in the kilt. He's got the sash. You know, he's got the belt. It's a very, you know, it's a slightly strange New Worlds-esque version of what was in TOS.
Yes.
But it's great to see it. The tartan was the same. It was really well, you know, nice little touches like that all throughout this. There's lots of little touches like that all the way through this episode. I'm trying to think what else did I also... Well, and there was a couple of other little bits that I noticed as well. Yes, that was it. If you look really closely, so when you see Spock and La'an dancing, if you look really closely in the background, there is a Crossfield class ship.
Oh, okay.
One of the little tidbits that I noticed that there is a Crossfield class ship, which means that perhaps there's more than two.
Yeah. Or
maybe is it a rebuild? Is it Discovery, a second Discovery maybe? Or another Glenn? You know, so I think it's quite nice that they've kind of drawn back to other ships of this era, which are kind of floating around in the background.
Yes.
Which I thought was really nice as well. So,
well, we love a good space stop. I mean, let's be honest, because we get lots of things to discover.
The ship nerd in me is like, oh, ship. But no, it's really good. I really enjoyed this episode a lot. And also, if it's the 100th anniversary of Starfleet, isn't it? It's 21.
Yes, yeah. The Centennial. I love that throw into that. That was nice. Yeah.
But also, it kind of ties into I want to say season 4 of Discovery, because that is the 1,000 years of Starfleet, isn't it? Yeah. So it's quite nice. We've got them kind of at both ends of the spectrum, which I kind of like as well.
And we want that.
I liked Ortegas' brother. It's just a nice little touch. It's a little bit more character building for Ortegas. I just really liked that little touch as well.
Well, and having that flirtation with Uhura, between him and Uhura, and it just crawling under Eric Ortega's skin. It's great. It's fun to see them as just humans, right? Not just these glorified Starfleet people. So I really enjoyed that, and I hope we see more of his character.
No, exactly. The only other tidbit I did notice is that in Pike's quarters, you see the coffee cup and the teacup.
Yeah.
There is the Bodium glass tea set behind it.
Oh,
just
nice.
A nice little nod back to TNG, which I thought was really nice as well. This episode isn't filled with all positives. There are some negatives. I can't think of any. To be completely honest with you. So there can't be that many negatives.
Can't be that many.
No, Jodi, can you think of anything you didn't like in this episode?
It's hard because, again, Rhys Davies, I can't say enough about him and the way he plays characters. Over the top, but not so much that you're like, oh, this is too much. Never.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the perfect amount.
It's the perfect balance, and so very Q of him. You know, but I guess if there was a downside to this one, it took me a minute to realize that Korby wasn't a part of the deception. Like, he hadn't been taken into that new reality. And it just took me a hot second. I wish that had been a little bit clearer when they were in the wedding rehearsal scene there. But it got pretty clear when he got into Spock's quarters, that's for sure.
And yes, got punched in the face. Anyway, but no, I can't. For me personally, I can't see any negatives to this episode.
No,
I think
it's just fun.
That we're nitpicking, really, aren't we, at this point? Just to kind of, so no, really good episode. Really enjoyed it. In every episode, there's obviously a standout. And of course, this week, it's Rhys Davies. I'm sorry. The character that he plays here, the wedding planner, is just... It's perfect. It really is. It's just the right amount of obnoxious without it being over the top. Yes. Now, I have a theory.
All right, let's have it.
So, is this Trelane from the original series? Because if you go back, Trelane is also very ornately dressed and very over the top, and uses, those, I'm going to say, over the top phrases, greetings and felicitations and tally ho, and there's very Trelane. And is this Trelane? I
mean, we never get a name from the omnipotent father orb that comes in, so we don't know.
Then that opens up another can of worms.
Yes.
Is this Q's son, who we obviously meet in Q2 in Voyager? Is this him? 15, 20 years down the line when he's more of an adult, and is that then the case where Trelane and Q Jr. are actually the same person, or the same omnipotent being?
It could be. I mean, we know that
he also uses the iconic finger pick. So,
I mean, it has to be. That's where I'm going to be. Yeah. As of right now, it is. And I don't feel that this will be the last time we see this Q. I hope not. Well, it's Star Trek lore that Q's made several appearances. I mean, Q himself tormented our Enterprise D crew for multiple episodes.
Is this Pike's Q moment, as it were? Is this who, is this Pike's Q, as it were?
And I like that because I loved how, Pike was just in. He was totally in that alternate reality until everyone wasn't. And then he had to quickly figure out how to get everybody moving along and not thinking about what just happened. And he stumbled over it. He fumbled. It was awkward. And I love that for him because he's always so together. We've seen moments of him when he's off, where he takes himself out of the moment. But this was just like, I have no idea what just happened, but we're just going to go on. We're going to go on.
You're just going to roll with it and see what happens.
Go to the bar.
But no. Exactly. Let's get sloshed. No. But no, I really enjoyed this. I think Rhys Darby is the perfect casting for this. Yes. I can't think of anybody else that could have done this character justice. But yeah, I agree with you. I hope this isn't the last time that we see him. And it would be really nice if we do get to see him and we get to confirm my conspiracy theory here that he is Trelane and Trelane is Q's son, Q Jr. So yes, I would like that one, please. Anybody, feel free to mention in the comments your thoughts on my conspiracy theory of the week. Last week we had a really intense season opener, and this week with Wedding Bell Blues, it brings a welcome shift in the tone and the light with kind of a romantic comedy style episode centered on Spock and Chapel's complicated relationship. And well, let's face it, an unexpected cosmic meddler. Oh, I like that. I think we have to use that more often. An unexpected cosmic meddler. The episode's standout guest is obviously Rhys Darby, who plays the mysterious wedding planner. And with his signature Kiwi charm and, playful menace, Darby channels the best elements of classic Star Trek trickster figures like Q and Trelane. His scenes are both hilarious and, slightly unnerving, keeping the audience crew on their toes. Spock ends up trapped in a glass dome as part of a surreal lesson in love orchestrated by the planet, and whilst Chapel reconnects with a, ex-fiance now? Who knows? Dr. Korby, meanwhile, the crew prepare for a wedding that no one can quite control, offering solid comedic beats with ensemble moments. The identity of Darby's character is deliberately left vague, but a surprise voice cameo from John Delancey as the disapproving cosmic father invites some speculation. Of course, you now know my theories, which are he is Trelane, echoing the squires of Gothos, which started, with his eccentric catchphrases and fashion. He's Q Jr., the son of Q from Voyager's Q2, and also, he's both. Who knows? Mention in the comments down below what you think. The episode leaves room for all interpretations, and I think that's part of the fun. Whether you see it as deep canon links or just playful homage, it fits snugly within Trek's long history of trickster deities. We never kind of learn who the wedding planner's real name is, and none of the crew get to see his true face. He appears differently to each person, a trait consistent with Q-like entities. Wedding Bell Blues is a, breezy, entertaining detour from the balances of Trek lore, with a bit of romantic mischief thrown in for good measure. Rhys Darby is delightful, and whether he's Q, Trelane, or, well, who knows, something in between, it's a smart tonal shift from the high-stakes premiere of last week's episode, and it keeps Star Trek Strange New Worlds at its most playful. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of 10 Forward. Remember to make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you get to know when we drop episode 3 next week. But from me and the delightful Jodi, remember, be brave, be bold, and live long and prosper.